The history of Marshall-Starke Development Center started in the 1960s, actually much like many of the agencies in our industry, and that was due to several core pieces of legislation that were passed during that time. But most notably, two of them, the Mental Retardation Facilities and Community Mental Health Center Construction Act of 1963, that's a mouthful, and the Social Security Amendment of 1965. And those were very important because one of them was in an effort for John F. Kennedy, who was president at the time and had a sister with developmental disabilities, to close down what were known as asylums or housing facilities during that time frame. Mostly because of overpopulation, overcrowding, the government no longer saw the need or the revenue coming in to fund them. And so they thought it best to close them. The Social Security Amendment was very important because it was the first time that people with developmental disabilities were acknowledged as necessary recipients of Social Security funding before the age of retirement. So the issue being, though, that these amendments were passed, these pieces of legislation were put through, but there were no additional supports put into place for guardians and parents for their individuals and their loved ones in regards to housing, in regards to day service provisions, in regards to transportation or medical assistance. So a core group of parents in the Marshall and Starke County areas decided that they were going to take matters into their own hands. They approached our local government, specifically our county councils and commissioners, and stated that they wanted to create a service that their children could utilize for day programs. And the reason that this was especially important to them is because their children at the time in the 1960s were not permitted to attend public school. So children were tested at that time, and they were put into one of two categories. They were either trainable, and if they were, it meant they could be taught a skill set that was repetitive to them that they could replicate over and over, or they were deemed non-trainable. If they were non-trainable, they weren't welcome at public schools at all. If they were deemed trainable, they were allowed to attend, but only between the ages of 8 and 13. This still didn't lend a lot to these children for social experiences, building and creating life skills, and just general socialization and self-worth activities. And like any parent, these parents decided their kids deserved more and they wanted to provide those things to them. So with the blessing of the local government, they accumulated some funds, primarily donated by local commissioners, but the local Jessye organization at the time, and specifically their wives, went out and collected a ton of money and purchased what at that time was a defunct hotel in our area known as the Lincoln Highway Hotel. The building still stands today as a private residence, and they started with just about 15 to 20 kids between the ages of preschool and about 3rd or 4th grade. By the second year, that number had grown to almost double and then continued to grow exponentially after that, as did the programming that was available through Marshall-Starke Development Center, as did the number of people that wanted to support the programming. And these programs ranged in everything from cognition skill building to life skills to socialization activities, and in some instances something as simple as just having a birthday party, which is something some of those children had never experienced before, and all in an effort by these parents to say their children mattered just as much as any other child in the community. And that's what we would all want, right? So as these littles grew, of course, their needs grew with them, and so the program evolved right alongside them, and specifically into sheltered workshop work as they became adults, and the parents wanted to give them community purpose and allow them to be participatory in the local workforce. And that was facilitated by starting a day services program specifically for adults. They contracted with local manufacturers to get what was known at that time as piece rate work, which meant that however many pieces they did, there was an associated rate for each one. but typically piece rate work is well below minimum wage. And that wasn't a huge deal until about the 90s and the mid to early and then later on 2000s, when minimum wage started to far surpass piece rate work and hourly piece rate work. So the government once again stepped in and said, we think that these adults deserve more than piece rate work, which can range anywhere from cents on the dollar for individual pieces done or packaged or helped with, to near but generally under minimum wage, and said that they wanted sheltered workshops to be closed down. Depending on the agency, you'll find a lot of differing viewpoints on whether or not this was a good thing, but nonetheless, all agencies then shifted to what's now being known as community integration or community first employment services, which means that we're gearing all individuals toward working in their local communities outside of day service programs. And for those individuals that may not be compatible with outside work, we're at the very least allowing them to be participatory in that skill improvement plan so that they are able to gain the same life skills and abilities that their peers are. So all of this in an effort to make sure that all of our individuals understand that they are a valuable part of our local community and the fabric that makes it up. Regardless of how participatory they're able to be from the time they were born until the time they pass, we want them to understand that as a community, we welcome them, we love them, and we value them. And no amount of difference makes that statement untrue. So we really hope that you participate with us in showing them the support and kindness and welcoming and acceptance that they deserve.